are you doing? This is Rodger, and I don't know if you're seeing this on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, but in any regard, I hope, what do you say? Happy Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas, whatever. I hope everyone is doing good, and I hope you got a lot of cool stuff from Santa Claus and your loved ones, and I hope you guys are just doing awesome in this Christmas season. And as promised, I want to do a Christmas update for you and show you some cool stuff. Hopefully you saw that village board that Damien did. Wow, that thing looked incredible. Before we move on to all these minis, because we're going to talk about a lot of miniatures for Dungeon Crusade. But if you saw the announcement, Damien, I'm going to shift this over a bit. Damien is going to be doing all of the House of Chance games also. The Adventures of Bravely the Knight, Tower Attack, Heroes vs. Monsters, and Skulljack. I love his art style, and I think you guys also with that map of Avalon, the village. So I want that to carry over, so it's very cohesive. So when technically your heroes go into the House of Chance, that nice style and design carries over to all the games. So everything's going to get redone for House of Chance by Damien. And Damien, I love you. You did awesome, awesome work. That village board is just amazing. Okay, so I said that. So now this was only going to be a video about the miniatures, the Reaper miniatures, but we're going to do a bunch of stuff here. And I hope you don't mind. Hope you hang out with me a bit. And I like talking to you guys. You know who I am. I like doing this with you. So no script, just going to talk. So here we go. We're going to paint some miniatures today. I ordered my custom collection that I want. And they came this week. So I ordered a bunch of them from Reaper themselves, but then I had to go online on eBay to get my wraiths. Now, if you saw that list, which I posted it again, this is what I chose for the wraith, for the minion. So there's some other ones on there. You may find something you like more. That's the whole thing. That just remember something. The monsters that I chose to use for Dungeon Crusader that inhabit Avalon are the classic archetypes. Okay, you're not going to find something weird where you can't find a miniature for. So you can use, of course, the cardboard miniatures that come with the game. You can find something in the Reaper line, or you can find something in the painted D&D line. If you guys know already, skeleton warriors are my favorite monster, and I love this one. So we're going to go over all of this, and we're going to paint these. So let's get these out of the way. And actually, you know what I did? Where's Razorfang? Well, this is our Razorfang. Of course, all monsters are going to be posed differently, so we're going to have fresh-looking, minions and guardians and heroes and all that. But these are going to be a good representation on the board, if you will. And so what I did was I took the time to order a Razorfang and bones, and then this is the metal one or pewter one, so you can kind of see the difference. I think I glued his arm lower. And I mean, honestly, you could use bones miniatures instead of buying the metal ones. But I do have those on there in case you do want to use metal ones. My set is going to be a mixture of metal and bones. So I wanted to show you that to see kind of the difference. And we'll get unpacking all these, and I'll show you what's up. So we'll get back to these. I got to put him together. This is going to be Banevic, one of the Guardians, Skeleton Warrior. I really didn't care for these, to be honest. This is what I used in the prototype game. And they're cool and all, but I actually think that one's cooler. So I'm going to nix these, and we're going to be putting this one in. Okay? So I'm going to unbox these. I'm going to pause the video in a little bit. I'm going to break all these out. Then we're going to set up. You can see over there, see all the ones in back there. We're going to set up everything before painting. And then, yes, I'm going to do a video of me painting everything in the house. Don't tell my wife, because I'm not allowed to paint in the house, but shh. Okay, that's done. So, miniatures. As I said, there's a whole thing of, let's put this over here, of Reaper miniatures that I built. This is just a mess right now. We're going to clear this out. But also, there's also D&D miniatures, because I know a lot of guys have these D&D minis. And again, like I said before, you can use D&D minis, the painted ones, with Dungeon Crusade. You're going to be able to find everything in the D&D line also to use. They're going to be quite kind of different, but it's cool to have painted minis. So, example, if we have a hellhound named Nefarian, so we could use that. If you're using the Reaper Bones, that one's on the list. And then, and I have to actually make a list for D&D miniatures, the ones you can use. He's like a little bit bigger. Maybe you want to use this for a hellhound. And let me explain here. And I actually have some cardboard minis. We're going to come back to that. If you're going to use something like this big, basically they kind of shrink up. So when you're moving them, you have to say, let's say that Nefarian ended there, okay? Of course, if you're in like a chamber over there, you can't attack. So you have to respect wall spaces. But anywhere would be a legal spot to attack Nefarian if you want to use this to represent him. Okay? We'll keep the action there for a second. Magnus, this is the miniature for Magnus, plus many other ones. I figured I had him, could use this. Same thing. So when they're moving, you kind of shrink them up. And then they kind of expand. I think who said that? Descent uses that kind of terminology. So again, wall spaces you couldn't attack. They're kind of big, but they look kind of cool, and they're already painted. Pros and cons of everything, So I have just a ton of these D&D minis, so you can use those. You could use that for your wizard, maybe that for your knight. Horus, another guardian. I wrote a whole origin story for all these guys. You could use him. Banevic, maybe use that. A Wraith, maybe you want to use that Wraith. So, my point is, you have this world of just D&D minis that you could use with Dungeon Crusade. And I have so many in here just that, I could find anything to use for them. So, that's what I wanted to say about those. So you can use D&D painted minis with Dungeon Crusade. Now, these of course are not the cardboard miniatures. They're from a game called Legends of Andor. And I love Legends of Andor. But I had to say, maybe ours are going to be a little bit bigger than these, a little bit. But these things are just perfect for this game. And I told you my vision was, I love cardboard minis. Double-sided cardboard minis. I love them. And my vision for Dungeon Crusade is to have this. I think it just adds to the charm of the game, the retro feel, and I just like them. I swear, I said that over the summer. I've just always found these things cool. And so this is just to give you an idea of what it would kind of look like. Of course, none of this arts can stay, but this is just, an idea to give you, like the minions could, of course, have green, blue, green, and red bases to keep track of them. There's the red one. Heroes will have like a gray or clear. I heard you guys. Maybe we'll have clear bases in there for you. And then Guardians will have purple bases. Okay? So that kind of gives you an idea of what Dungeon Crusade is going to look like with cardboard minis. And I really like these a lot. So what are we going to do now? What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this all up here, all of this. I'm going to unbox the bones you just saw over here. And then we're going to set up my set unpainted. Then we're going to go into the production room and try to be quiet and paint some minis. And so then you're going to see a full set of what I'm going to use. So hang tight. I'm going to pause, clean all this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I am back. I unboxed all of the Bones miniatures. I had to put one of the miniatures together, Banevic. So I'm going to be referring to these as, what they're being used for in Dungeon Crusade. So let's go over a few of these here. I'm going to tell you now, I really like this set that I put together. Everything looks cool to me, and I think it fits the board good, the style. They're all different, and so. Let's go over a few of these here. First of all, this is what I was trying to explain to you guys on that list. That you're going to have to get 3 of the minions each. And I should have actually got some of the minion cards to show you. But, there's going to be 3 goblin archers you're going to need. And you're going to need to paint those in some form of green, red, and blue. Because on the minion cards, there's going to be these green, red, and blue crystals for each of them. So that way you keep track of their health and stuff like that. And same with the Goblin Footmen and these Orc Siege Breakers. These are metal ones. These ones that are already painted, these are metal. But I really, I dig this miniature. It's one of my favorite ones. And that's my favorite color too, by the way. I mean, I have green walls in here. What does that tell you? Okay, so these were kind of the ones that we replaced. This is going to be the minion for Cultist of Zal. And I think there's like 4 different versions on there. But I just thought this was a very cool mini. And again, we're going to be doing the same thing when we head out into the other room. Green, blue, and red. And I really love this Wraith. I think they call it a ghost on there, but to me, that is a Wraith. And look how cool this looks on the board. I mean, I want to play this game now after looking at these minis. How cool is that? You know, after it's painted and all that. Maybe our rogue is going to fight it here. Maybe the barbarian's behind it fighting. I want to go play this game like right now. Sorry. Anyway, I really like that for a Wraith. Very cool. And then my favorite monster of all time, Skeleton Warriors. Take a look at that. I think it looks very cool. So I am very happy with this set. And what I did was, I think I put, for the heroes, I think I put the cleric. I swapped out the cleric that we had. You can still, of course, use that one. It's a pewter one or metal. This is the bones one. And if you notice, spiritual warfare, you use a mace or a scepter. She's equipped with it. And of course, she has a lot of healing and blessing. And I thought that was a nice touch. So I did swap out that. So those are the heroes there. And I did touch on this. The Albus, this is a D&D mini. And this is called a wolf. I don't know if you could see it on that. A wolf. And this is from the Harbinger line. So I did use that. But I have something on the list if you want to use an Albus from the Reaper line. Okay? So going over our 8 Guardians that are in the game there. And this, let me bring him up here for you. Let's bring them all up here for you. This came in 4 pieces. That's going to be Bane Vic. Oh, wait, we'll put him in here. Like, I really want to go play a scenario right now because this is the first time that, I'm seeing all this. He's kind of big. So we just have to follow the rule. If you're going to use something this big, if, say, he ended there, he would, like, shrink up, so to speak. So, you'd have to find the legal spaces to attack him. But what a cool miniature. So that's Bane Vic. And then here is Kilgore, Lord Blackhand, leader of the Blackhand army, Razorfang, and I swapped out the metal one. This is the bones one, and I don't know why I like the bones better. They might be a little more detailed, but the metal ones are more detailed, but I like the bones miniatures preferably. Here is the undead dragon, Dreadthorn, metal. Probably the toughest monster in the game right now is Magnus from the Underworld. And again, metal. Here is Horus. He's got some very cool abilities too. Again, these are all Guardians, of course. So that's going to be Horus. And then finally, the Hellhound Nefarian. So those are the 8 Guardians. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into the other room. We're going to paint up the ones. And we're going to see how they look. But I want to show you guys something first that you may want to know about these minis. So I am going to take you into the bathroom and show you something. That didn't quite sound right, but I assure you what I'm going to show you pertains to miniatures. And I'll leave it at that. Let's go over here. Okay, we are in the bathroom of DC Labs. And what I was going to show you is I am going to show you the proper way how to shower before playing Dungeon Crusade. I'm kidding. It's Christmas humor, guys. Hopefully no one's too offended by that. But I did want to show you something seriously about these Reaper Bones miniatures and something very easy to do. Now, it says that sometimes, like when I got Kilgore here, he was kind of bent. He was like, kind of like that. Like this part was bent down. And Razorfang was kind of like not standing like straight up, so his miniature sits a lot better. So, according, to some things out there, what you have to do is boil water, then put it in ice cold water. Guys, you don't have to do all that. Okay, I like me. I like the easy way. I want you guys to have the easy way. Put on your hot water, go in your sink, your kitchen sink. If you got a good hot water tank, you'll get some really hot water, you know, until you see the smoke come up. Now, I'm not going to do this now because I already have these perfectly seated. But when you see that smoke coming up, you know, like the steam and all that, put your miniature underneath it for about a minute. You're not going to damage it just with this, okay? So after you can feel it kind of, you know, going to burn your hands on your water, what you're going to hurry up and do is, get it where you want it, churn this up, and turn on the cold water, and hold it where it was at. And I wish you could have, I should have done it before and after, but he's perfect now from that little trick with the sink, okay? So, I hope you like this. Okay, let's get out of this bathroom because we got to go paint. Okay guys, we're ready to paint these miniatures now, and now this is just my way. You know, there's tons of ways you can paint minis. I'm sure people might look at my setup and like, how dare he paint minis that way? But you know what? Whatever works, that's what I roll with. So, if you hear someone talking in the other room, my son's playing Smite, so that's the other person. What I did was, you know, you're going to need to turn your miniatures when you're painting these. So what I did is I just grabbed some pieces of plywood and I used a drop of hot glue, a very, very small drop. You just need a little. And so I secured them down so that way I can, you know, churn it and make sure I get everything. So you see, like, this is going to maybe be the blue ones here. And then we have the red ones here, possibly. And then finally the green. Then we're going to set them to dry. So I'm going to set these to aside right now. And this is what I was going to show you. This is the kind of paint that I've been using. And Model Master. And it works really good with the miniatures and that. It was kind of pricey though. It tells the color right on top. So these are and it's all matching. This is the stuff that I use to paint this. So I'm not, you know, doing any kind of crazy detail because some of you guys out there do some outstanding work. I just don't have the time or patience to do that. I totally admire that. It's some of those paint jobs that you guys do in miniatures I can only dream of. So why don't we start with the green first, since green is my favorite color. And if you're new to painting, but one of the things that you want to do is do several thin layers. So you don't want to get right up on it and spray just, you know, some nice coats over it. Let that sit, you know, work on the red and green ones, then come back to these for maybe a final coat. So I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to show you my method, and hopefully this works for you. So, do a test thing first. It's a very cool color green. This tip is like clogging, I think. Hopefully we get through this. Okay, so I'm going to hold it just about from right here, and then light coats over it. And with bones, you can go right over you know, they're ready to paint. They said you could take these things out and you can start painting them right away. If you hear a girl come down screaming what are paint fumes, we're going to run in the other room. Do the back. Actually looking kind of cool. What do you think? Do the side here of them. These are actually coming out really good. And honestly, when you paint them, I don't think you're going to be able to tell from the pewter to the bones ones. I don't know if we're going to need a second coat. I mean, maybe we will, but we'll just let this sit. Let's do a little more here. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for right now. So look at it. Well, wait, hold on. Let's get underneath here a little bit. Hopefully you can see all this. This side, get underneath, get his shield. So this may be kind of a generic method, but look how good that works. You may get a little overspray in your hand. That's not going to hurt you. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to let these dry. What do you think? Dungeon Crusade minis. I'll probably hit it one more time. But, I don't know, I'm happy with that. It's good for me, play the game with it. You know, they get banged up, just touch them up. Okay, guys, I'm going to paint the rest of these, and I'm going to let them dry. And then when we come back, we're going to see them all dried and on the board. Okay? I hope you like this. I'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, are you ready for the big unveiling? You're looking at a black and white grid. Okay, these came out really nice. Are you ready? Here we go. Voila. These were kind of still tacky, but I was excited, and I wanted to show you guys these. So, let's take a look at everything. They came out really nice. And to be honest, could you really tell the difference between a bones and a metal one? I mean, a close inspection you could. But they came out really nice. Him being my favorite, of course. Check that out. Really, really cool. So let's pan over here, let you see. Well, you saw those guys. There's how Razor Fang came out. Check out that Wraith. Very nice. I'm probably going to touch up my metal ones, though, because these look a little brighter. But, you know, it's good for me. Where's some other ones at? There's Kilgore, how he came out. Very nice. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Look at Banevic. How's that? See, and for me, I can play like this. It's cool. I know you guys get crazy with doing details of stuff and all that. But if you just, you know, if you just want to throw some paint on the minis and get to playing, this is a cool way to do it. And I hope you enjoyed this. So let me give you some, let me check, where's this at? Yeah, and there's the Cleric. Now this was just the bones, and then here's like a metal one. That was, but there's also, if you look, there was a bones wizard that I put on there too. But could you really tell? So I think they look really good. I'm gonna play. I want to go play test. The family and I, we're going to church right now. Then we're gonna go out to. We always go out to a restaurant on Christmas Eve, so we're gonna go out there. Some going home instructions for this. Two things. Remember when we were in the bathroom and I pretended I was gonna shower, but I didn't, and I taught you that little trick about how to, you know, heat them up. Make sure you do that first. You don't want to do it after you paint that. So make sure if there's some kind of slight bend in your minis, do that little trick first. And then, of course, paint them. Actually, another thing, too, these are kind of tacky, meaning, you know, they're still kind of a little bit sticky. I was excited because I wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to let them sit while I'm gone. And then when I get home tonight. Another tip, don't shoot yourself with blue spray paint, because I look like a 70s drag queen with blue fingernail polish. Okay, and then lastly, remember how I did a spot of hot glue on them? They came off perfectly. And what I did was, this was the one for the Cleric, but I just took this lightly, and I held the base of it, and then just lightly did that, and it popped. It came right off. Some of them, I didn't even have to use this. So that's how you can do that. Again, my method, you may have a way better way, but for people like me who just want to get it done, this is a good way to do it. And really, there was hardly any paint left. I mean, glue, when I was done. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked this. And again, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And love you guys for what we're doing here. I'm just having the best time making this game with you and everything. So, have a good Christmas, and I will see you. We'll chat in the comments, the update comments and all that a bit. Okay, guys, I'm taking off. Have a good one, and we'll zoom out on my favorite monster and my favorite color. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.